Good evening from the News Hub here in Accra. This is News 360. I am Isa Moni.
And I am Solins Rose Corte. Coming up in the next 60 minutes.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
In the headlines tonight, 4 people have reportedly been injured at Dia and Salelgo in the northern region.
And police declare 2 persons wanted for their involvement in the Bimbilla shooting on January 11, which claimed 3 lives.
Illegal mining activities resurfaced at Hemine Prestia in the western region.
Also tonight, governance experts condemn recent unsavory comments by U.S. President Donald Trump, but think it should serve as a wake-up for Africa.
And also in the bulletin, we bring you the story of how residents in the northern Ghana trek several hours in search of water.
And on the international front tonight, Tunisian government announces a wave of social reforms reacting to anti-austerity protests. Well, details of all these and more, including sports and entertainment, coming up.
Right, in our first story tonight, 4 people have reportedly been injured at Dia and Salelgo in the northern region. And we also are informed that some armed men from a neighboring community believed to support a rival chief are behind this attack, and they have invaded and burned down the entire community. A long-standing chieftaincy dispute between the Gonjas and the Tampulumes has been blamed for the attack. The violence was allegedly triggered Saturday afternoon when some armed men allegedly stormed the Tampuma territories to take royalties from a group of Fulani herdsmen living in the area. And joining us on phone now is the Northern Region Police PRO, ASP Yusuf Tanko. Good evening, Chief, if you can hear us.
Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Now, can you please confirm the clashes at Dia and Salelgo?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening to you and good evening to your viewers as well. Yes, I can confirm that there were attacks at Daiso and Salelgo in the North Gonja district. It wasn't a clash, it was an attack. The Gonjas, upon information that some men who they sent to the area to take royalties from the Fulanis had been attacked, mobilized and went there and attacked 2 communities, burnt houses, and in the end, 1 person, a male of 45 years, was shot dead, and a woman over 90 years was also burnt in the blaze. Property, that's foodstuff and other property, were also destroyed. Policemen were sent to the area, and now the area is calm. Patrols are ongoing in the area to ensure that no further attacks are carried out.
All right, so what is the current status of the 4 persons allegedly who suffered injury in the attack? Yeah,
I have not received information on them as of now, but I can tell you that 6 persons from the Gonja side were those who were said to have gone to the area to take the royalties. And the Gonjas who went there alleged they rescued 4 of them, and they are still in search of the other 2. The information has reached police, and police is also trying to find the whereabouts of those 2 persons.
So these 2 communities you're talking about, Salelgo and Dia, would you say it is now safe for the inhabitants to return?
I cannot say that because all the houses have been burnt. So they need to be renovated before people can go back into those houses.
What kind of investigation is the police carrying out now?
Yeah, we are trying to find out exactly what triggered this particular violence, and also who are the perpetrators. Because as we speak, I've told you 2 lives have been lost already, and also houses have been burnt, property destroyed. So our investigation will be to identify the perpetrators and bring them to book. And since we also know that it is a land issue, we will urge the feuding parties to settle their cases before the traditional authorities or the law courts. But those people who have perpetrated acts of lawlessness and perpetrated crimes will surely be looked for and, if found, prosecuted.
ASP, we are grateful for your time this evening. That was the PRO for the police PRO for the Northern Region, ASP Yusuf Tanko, and he was talking to us about attacks in Dia and Saligo, and he said 2 persons have died in a reported land dispute between 2 communities in that area.
Now let's still stay on security, and the Northern Regional Police Command has declared 2 suspects wanted for their involvement in the Bimbilla shooting that led to the death of 3 persons with 7 others injured. The 2, Al-Hassan Isa and Al-Hassan Hadi, according to the Northern Regional Police Public Relations Officer ASP Yusuf Tanko, are among the names that have come up as those who planned the Thursday, January 11 attack in Bimbilla. They escaped arrest after a 6-squad military and police team from Tamale arrived in Bimbilla on Saturday, January 13, 2018, leading to the arrest of 2 persons. The police is urging the public to assist in tracing the whereabouts of the 2 suspects.
And on News 360, we're doing some more stories. And in spite of the national effort to stop all forms of illegal mining, popularly referred to as galamsey, the menace is still rife in the country. Peter Kwadato came across a group of young men engaged in illegality on River Ankobra on the outskirts of Prestea Hemai in the Western region.
On Wednesday, January 10, the news team came across this group of young men busily engaged in galamsey activities in the Ankobra River. The news team was unable to get out of the car or even let it stop for fear of possible attack from the legal miners. However, they looked more relaxed even when the vehicle slowed down considerably. Surprisingly, the illegal mining activity was being undertaken on the outskirts of Prestea Hemai in the full glare of passerbys using the road to the palace of the Hemai Prestea Hene. A cursory look showed the site is an old galamsey area on the shoulders of River Ankobra with serious consequences on the river. So we asked if Operation Vanguard is in the area and why the illegal miners still operate with impunity. Illegal mining, popularly referred to as galamsey, has become a national security threat in the country. Almost every water has been polluted and large tracts of farmland destroyed. Again, galamsey sites are dotted with deep and gaping holes that often trap unsuspecting persons. These and other challenges prompted the entire nation to rally behind the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, John Peter Amewu, when he launched a revolt against all forms of illegal mining activities in the country. Yet the practitioners refused to back down on the practice. Not even the deployment of Operation Vanguard team in the last quarter of 2017 was enough to curtail the practice.
Or still on illegal mining, the Eastern Regional Forest Division says some hectares of land in the Tiwa Forest Reserve have been affected by illegal mining. The Regional Director, Yao Etuahene Nyakon, explained although the situation is worrying, it is no big threat to the Forest Reserve yet.
The Tiwa Forest Reserve covers an area of 23,622 hectares, whilst its extension covers an area of 2,649.57 hectares. With a total area of 26,271.57 hectares, the Forestry Commission lacks adequate forest guards to track legal miners and chainsaw operators. The Forest Reserve is a source of potable water to millions of the nation's populace. Over the years, the Tiwa Forest Reserve and its extensions have become a target for legal miners. The Eastern Regional Manager of the Forestry Commission, Yao Etuahene Nyakon, explained they operate in small groups.
We always meet them in groups of 4 and 5 because they would like to go and hide and do the mining. So I will not deny the fact that, yes, illegal mining to an extent, is going on in Achua. But the scale that we heard of, that the people are talking about, hundreds of people in a group working, I don't think anybody would like to do that in a forest reserve, because it will expose them and we can easily come for them.
He expressed worry about the pieces of land destroyed and assured more proactive measures will be enforced this year. Between December last year and January this year, several legal miners have been arrested.
We do some more news tonight, and the erratic rainfall pattern in 2017 has compelled residents in most communities of northern Ghana to trek several hours in search of water. Ifatiwaka reports barely a month into the dry season, most water sources are already drying up.
The problem is a perennial one as most parts of northern region are faced with low water tables. Annually, residents struggle to access water from January to June. Dams, rivers and dugouts collecting rainwater are mainly water sources serving most communities. Sometimes, one of life's prized commodities is shared with animals.
There are times we come and animals are taking over, so one has to wait for the animals to finish drinking. Then it settles for us to fetch.
Residents say they are in their trying time. The rainy season is expected to begin in May or June, but in January already, most rivers and dugouts are drying up, compelling residents to scoop water from dry riverbeds like this one.
Currently, if you go there, the whole place is dried. And women have to travel from here to Kulpini River Dakar before they can even fetch water. The distance from here to River Dakar is about 8 kilometers.
Residents complained of inadequate water in dams and dugouts due to the erratic rainfall pattern in 2017. Lives and businesses have been affected.
We only get water during the rainy season, so for now we go to riversides to dig and wait before we can get water.
While school children are bearing the brunt of the situation.
School resumes and we don't have water. Many of them cannot come from the interland and come and stay here to attend school. And secondly, the teachers too, even if they come, where do they get water to bath?
If you see the way children and women, including men, old women, how they are suffering because of water, it is never easy in town here. The little water that we men can get, they will use that small water to cook for us to eat. We'll be lying down without bathing. We will not bath ourselves.
Mion district is said to be the worst hit by the water crisis. Inhabitants hope government's One District, One Dam initiative will help solve the water crisis. District Chief Executive of Myong, Mohammed Hassim Abdullahi, and Assembly members are giving priority to the provisioning of portable drinking water.
Every village throughout the country should have good and portable drinking water. And in this district, our main problem is good drinking water. A lot of communities are suffering and struggling with animals during dry seasons for water.
The inhabitants believe strategic positioning of the dams will collect water from upstream Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso to solve the annual flooding and acute water crisis.
And now to an issue that has been trending globally since it broke on Thursday. And governance experts have condemned the recent unsavory comments from U.S. President Donald Trump, but think it should serve as a wake-up call for African nations to put their house in order. In the views of Professor Baole, Dr. Odrosai and Vitus Azim, sometimes harsh words are imperative for people to stand up for their rights.
The U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday, January 11, passed unsavory comments on Africa and Haiti, a development that attracted sharp condemnation across the world. This local governance expert, Dr. Eric Odrosai, anti-corruption campaigner Vitus Azim, and head of Department for Public Administration and Health Services Management, University of Ghana Business School, Professor Justice Baole, agreed.
It was very unfortunate coming from the president of a country that most African countries are friendly with. It's unfortunate, and he shouldn't have said it.
Definitely the statement he made would affect the relationship between the US and Africa, especially the African Union has written and condemned it strongly. And I think all of us are joining African Union to condemn it in no uncertain terms. He should not have spoken like that. He is the leader of a superpower nation, and all of us look up to them.
Anybody who knows America knows that America is not heaven. There are a lot of bad places in America. Not long ago, there was a lot of flood. They could not contain it. There have been significant problems in the US that they have had no solution to, and stuff like that. And so if you were a president of a country, though powerful, but has challenges, you don't want to look at the whole of the rest of the world, especially Africa, lump all of us together and describe us in a way that is so unpresidential.
However, they were quick to draw attention to the fact that the comment from Donald Trump should serve as a wake-up call to Africa to put its house in order.
Sometimes people deserve the insults that they get. And if we are real annoyed, if we Africans are real annoyed by that statement, we need to rethink the way we run our countries.
Africans too, we should look into what he said, and if there are ways we need to change that. But it is not a good statement, and it should not be repeated again.
We cannot continue to blame slavery. It's past and gone. Our generation hasn't seen slavery. We are worse off than when there was slavery. What are the questions? And I think we should look deep right down into our own faces and ask ourselves these difficult questions. But even more importantly, to continue to work at solving our own problems in ways that do not give some people the opportunity to speak anyhow to us.
Professor Justice Bawali again cautioned the US president to be careful the way he addresses people, since America is not a paradise.
And fish farming has risen from less than 1,000 tons to 2,000 in 2002 to over 50,000 metric tons in 2017. Even that is just about half of the country's gross domestic consumption target. Experts at the Fisheries Protocol Validation Workshop in Accra called for pragmatic steps to issues in the fisheries sector to reduce the deficit.
Ghana's fishing sector was producing 234,100 tons, composed of 199,100 tons of marine varieties and 35,000 tons of freshwater fish in 1982. This was enough to feed the country and also export. However, large-scale and unregulated catch by foreign vessels have severely depleted the fish stock in Ghana's waters within a decade. This prompted government in 1992 to pass the fisheries law to curb overfishing and to help protect the marine environment. The law also gave rise to fish farming as an alternative to restoring the depleted fish stock. Yet, nearly 2 decades of aquaculture production, the industry is yet to meet the expected target. These experts blamed on challenges as well as violation of the regulations and conventions governing the industry.
A fish that is also healthy, a fish that can reproduce, and that their offsprings are also healthy, viable, meaning they can also reproduce. And so to develop a fish for the farmers needs a complete program where financial support, infrastructural resources should be provided for this to be done.
Diseases have become the bane of international trade. So these protocols are to protect the industry, like the new emerging aquaculture industry, to be able to compete within the international arena, to be able for our products to be safe for the country, the consumers in the country and outside.
Some stakeholders call for more political will to deal with the violations.
I'm surprised that these Chinese are able to breed fish that by law is not allowed to be bred here.
Including the farms, including the feed, including import and export. And it's about time that things will be a proper design and planned.
Others want government to stop lip service to deal with issues affecting the industry in order to ensure steady growth.
Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission, which is supported by Star Ghana with funding from UK Aid, the European Union and Danida. Let's start off from the education sector. And authorities at the Funsi Senior High School in the Upper West region are scratching their heads as to exactly what to do in completing a dining hall complex for students. The Get Fund project has stalled since 2012-2013 academic year. Students eat under makeshift structures and a tree. Now, this is a health risk and also delays reporting time back to class after meals.
So let's continue from this section. Now we said that from the question, our domain X.
Ready to study, but in a difficult.
2x plus what? 5. So let's continue from this section. Now we said that from the question, our domain X.
Ready to study, but in a difficult environment. Activities from morning till when they retire is distressful. First, breakfast. Hoping to have a decent place for meals. They eat under this tree. Those lucky find themselves under this shed. This is what has just provided breakfast for these students. The place will be cleaned up. You can see pieces of bread crumbs and cocoa scattered all over. And around 2:15, the same students will come back here and have lunch. For years, this is where the students have had their meals. Training them in the etiquette of eating isn't observed at all. They eat anyhow, anyway, only to fill their stomach and get back to their classrooms. Lunchtime is no different. The same environment, the same struggle, and the same stress. The District Assembly put up this makeshift dining structure, but says it cannot complete the uncompleted structures because they are from Get Fund.
Work has come to a standstill. I've contacted the contractors, and it's that funds are not provided to them. That is why the work has come to a standstill. But they are making all their efforts to go back to site.
Every structure started in the 2012-2013 academic year remains uncompleted.
You can talk about the administration block, the dining hall complex. You can talk about the assembly hall, the girls' dormitory block. They are all still uncompleted. And because of that, we have no chance to expand the school in terms of academic work, like adding more programs.
The girls occupy the uncompleted administration block, while the headmaster uses his bungalow as an office. Congestion is huge. In fact, the school is turning away students.
Last year, for example, students kept coming to get admission, but looking at the lack of infrastructure, especially with the girls, they are occupying the uncompleted administration block. And for now, the whole place is so choked that they are even sleeping on top of one another. So there was no way we could admit them.
Every project is a Get Fund project, and the headmaster says he is constantly chasing for work to restart.
Get Fund is funding so many projects that they are not able to do all at a time. So they keep telling me that I should hold on, as when things are better off, they will see to it.
The Regional Education Directorate says Funsi Senior High School infrastructure is not an ideal situation.
There are new structures coming up, but when will they complete these buildings, and then we see. It's not an ideal situation. Teachers' accommodation is zero. Most of the teachers stay in town and go to and commute to the schools.
With the location of a school, several students who otherwise would have gotten admission now find themselves in a dilemma. Traveling to Tumu or Wa or Dafiama is a challenge. School authorities say until expansion is done, the school can only admit a few students.
Now let's look at the health sector. And the poor road network and lack of bridges over rivers in the Wa East district of the Upper West region is slowing down effective healthcare. It takes 3 days to travel from some health facilities to the district capital due to this problem. Now, Bright Nana Amfo reports medicines and vital documents get signed late, while patients queue for days waiting for healthcare providers.
Transportation is poor, and so most journeys are done on foot.
What needs to be worked on, we work on them, and either we call them on phone to pick them, or we give them to the very officers who are going back to the field to give them. But allowing them to come here because of the nature of our district, sometimes we don't encourage that. Because somebody can take about 3 days to come to the district capital.
The district is geographically disadvantaged. It is entirely divided into two. In fact, 2 districts and a municipal separate the 2 sides of the Wa East district. Over 100 communities are separated by poor roads and rivers. Some communities can only be reached by crossing rivers. This is a huge disadvantage to healthcare providers.
So we are making effort to also provide the needed healthcare to our people. I would liken it to because of our challenges and the peculiar nature of our district in terms of how to be able to reach out, because to some areas as far as service delivery is concerned. So I think we are delivering service on an average.
The team is performing below capability due to this. Providing healthcare is therefore a problem. Some rivers hinder healthcare workers from delivering quality service.
This particular time is even better. As you can see, the river is drying up. Before, if it was the rainy season, I have to go through Wa from Bulinga. Instead of just coming this shorter route, I would have had to pass through to Wa before I get to Fonsi. So actually, it is not easy.
Traveling time is increased. Patients wait for hours. Healthcare is delayed.
The only thing that we are hoping can help us is when this bridge is constructed. That will make the district linked. And that will enable even commercial vehicles to ply this road they will earn their living, and workers in Fonsi district will also be able to do their work very well.
The situation is worsened during the rainy season when the rivers are full. It takes 3 days to distribute medicines and other logistics. The cost is huge. Service delivery is not the best.
You have to cross 3 big rivers before you get to those communities. And so, in fact, for the past 3 months, none of us could get there in order to render services to them. Through nobody's fault.
But the district health management team says there is hope.
Everything boils down to leadership. And I think that right as a district, if we see the need for these things and we prioritize according to these needs, there's so much hope. And there is indications to me that if we go on with what we are doing and improve upon that, to decentralize the health delivery system. We are trying to ease the staff, a distance of travel, and then also ease the distance of travel for the clients themselves.
And so, bringing health facilities closer to the people will ensure improved health care. Some health facilities are to be built and others upgraded. The Wa East district has no district hospital. The population of 72,000 is served by health centers and CHIPS compounds. The district health management team is working hard to put up a district hospital and improve on the skills of healthcare workers, and they need central government support to achieve this.
Well, that wraps up Mission for the weekend. And don't forget that you can get more news updates on our website, www.3news.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Let's do some more news. The Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development has asked the National Commission for Civic Education, Journalists and District Coordinating Directorates to help with information on the creation of new regions. Sector Minister Dan Botwe made the call at a forum to equip stakeholders with constitutional procedures in the Volta region.
The Volta region is carefully zoned into 3 segments, the northern, middle and southern belts, and host to all ethnic groupings in the country, making it a heterogeneous region. Article 5, subsection 1 of the 1992 Constitution gives the President the power to create a new region, alter the boundaries of a region, or provide for the merger of 2 or more regions. The stakeholders' sensitization workshop was in line with the 1992 constitutional provision to keep the people abreast with the law and their responsibilities. The Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, Dan Botwe, explained the constitutional provisions, which he insisted cannot be imposed on the people.
Explain the process. When it comes to the referendum, we'll do voter education, explain to people, NCC will help in that exercise. Those ones government will do. But it's not the duty of government to, as it were, advocate, print posters, and go and campaign that go and vote yes. That one government is not a government will not do that.
The Volta Regional Fora is scheduled between January 16 and 20, 2018.
Now, media houses are being criticized for unethical reportage of gender issues in Ghana. A seminar to point out ethical lapses in gender reporting and also to streamline ethical considerations in general has been held in Accra for journalists.
A Canadian-based journalist is struggling to come to terms with the standards of journalism in Ghana. Mohammed Adams noted not much has changed in the profession since the 1960s, even in the face of media liberalization. The media expert and communication consultant bemoaned the mode of reporting on gender issues, especially rape and defilement cases. Media reports on the alleged KKD rape issue was one of unethical cases cited in his presentation.
The reporting was appalling. The way they covered that young woman, they really hounded her. A young woman alleges she has been raped. She's traumatized. She's hurting. She's in pain. And we, reporters and editors, we are stampeding. There is this frenzy to publish her name. Why do you victimize her again?
Mohammed Adams observed fairness, accuracy, integrity and sensitivity are always ignored in gender reporting.
I think we should never, and I mean never, publish the name of a rape victim online, in newspaper, on radio, period. And worse, we should never put their picture anywhere.
Senior journalists present at the seminar admit the professional lapses.
Reports captured in some of our national media outlets and the language that was used to describe, instances of sexual violence, we all had to agree were inappropriate and seeks to either trivialize this very heinous, offense. So it is really true that we really are not there yet.
Every time a journalist wants to write about something, you ask yourself, what exactly do I want to achieve? When you begin to answer that question, why am I writing this? For what purpose? And what is it going to achieve? Then you actually be doing good reporting.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Alfil Money, is promising responsibility.
Continue to invest more in training, especially in ethical training. And it's interesting to note that we have crafted a new code of ethics, which will be more responsive to the ethical challenges we face now than what we used to be. What we had did not foresee the challenges from social media, cross-media, multimedia, and other challenges.
Journalists were entreated to read wide and keep upgrading themselves to match the changing demands.
And now, an 11-year-old suffering from multiple disability is seeking public support to survive. Selim Aveji's father died when he was 3 months, and the whereabouts of the mother cannot be traced. Ivara Tiboka has the rest of the story.
Suffering from multiple disabilities, each passing day comes with struggles. Conditions under which Selim lives, it's an eyesore, although he has a room and a mattress to himself. A birthplace made of zinc slabs, but those are not his concerns. His most pressing challenge is access to food. The news team could only aid him with diapers and lunch. He lost the father 3 months after birth and developed the multiple disabilities months after. His mother is also missing. Selim is putting up with his step-matrilineal grand-auntie, who claims Selim's patrilineal family rejected him because of his condition.
I sent Selim to her patrilineal auntie's house, but she says she does not want Selim in her house, and if I leave him behind, she will bring him back to me.
Victoria Aveji again claimed Selim had also lost the only property his late father left behind.
Selim, get up. Get up.
At age 11, Selim needs special attention, but financial constraints is preventing him from accessing health care. He would have found solace in Act 715 of the Disability Law, which guarantees persons with disabilities free access to specialist medical care, but that is far from reach. Victoria, the breadwinner of the family, has to sell second-hand clothing to enable her cater for the family, leaving Selim home alone. Selim is appealing to the general public for support. Donations could be brought to TV3 at Adisawe, Kanda.
Wonderful baby. I think the gift of life that we all have, it's the same thing in Selim. Yeah. He's only suffering from this kind of illness, and I think we should be able to help him. Let's put our hands in our pocket and drop something for Selim.
Indeed. Let's move over and do some other stories. Now, some students from Twende in the Bawku West district of the Upper East region are calling for the completion of the Bolka-Bawku Polmakong Road. Now, according to the students, the road construction, which started in 2016, was abandoned at the last quarter of 2017 due to lack of funds. This is a report by Tanko Mohammed Rabiu.
The Bolgatanga-Bawku Polmakong Road is a 110-kilometer highway. The road links the northern sector to other ECOWAS countries. The reconstruction of the road was awarded in 2016 by the ex-government to a Brazilian construction company, Quero Garvao, but 13-kilometer portion of it between Bolgatanga and the Red Volta has been awarded to Mawums Construction Limited and is in progress. Only the portion awarded to the Mawums Construction Limited is in progress. Reconstruction of the road awarded to the Brazilian company was halted in November last year. Residents complained about the dusty nature of the road, which, according to them, is affecting their health.
And as it stands now, I'm even sick and I'm on medication due to the dusty nature of the road. I have been going to Bolga up and down, day in, day out. And as it stands now, I get scared whenever I'm to board a bus to Bolga.
According to students in the area, armed robbers take advantage of the poor road condition to attack.
There are a lot of armed robbery issues. That happens all the time. And armed robbers take advantage of the road. if the road was constructed and is in good shape, I don't think a car will find it difficult moving at a low pitch, which allows them to be attacked at any time.
They are appealing to government to take action and settle contractors for them to resume work.
And residents of Ahima Kokobeng in the Ashanti region are living in fear following daily attacks by criminals in and around the community. They claim the increasing crime rate is as a result of the absence of a police station in the area. Ibrahim Abubakar reports.
Ahima Kokobeng is a densely populated community in the Etrima Kwawuma district in the Ashanti region with more than 10,000 residents. The community has been without a police station since its creation. The nearest police station to the community is Brofiedu, which is about 15 kilometers away. As a result of this, residents say crime is rampant in the community. The residents say on the average, they record at least one robbery case a day.
We are living here maybe in fear. So, like I said, a letter was written to the central government for some years ago. So that the government should come to the aid in building a police station, but nothing came out.
After several appeals by residents, a philanthropist constructed a police station for the community. Professor Lukmond Owusu-Ansah is hopeful the provision of the facility will improve the security situation in the area.
My friend, who was a banker, who was shot dead here, and there are other series of robbery cases which resulted killing different people, and sometimes the last time the robbery at the filling station and all those things to prompt me to.
He appealed to benevolent organizations to assist the station with resources such as motorbikes for patrols. Residents are hopeful the establishment of the police station will curb the crime rate in Ahima Kokobeng and other surrounding communities.
Now, relatives of children from various localities in Ghana and Nigeria are being sought after by the state's shelter for abused children. Some of the children have been in the shelter since January 2017, but efforts at tracing their relatives have not been successful.
The children are 8-year-old Victoria Ansah, who was sent to the shelter on October 20, 2017. Priscilla Mefia, 12 years, from Oyibi and came to the shelter on December 5, and Millicent Benewa, 10 years, who hails from Begro and was sent to the shelter on January 3, 2017. The others are 9-year-old Desmond Ofori, who was brought from Konkomba on October 16, Mary Beblemanya, 13, from Oyibi but was sent to the shelter on December 12, Prosper Ofori, 9 years, from Sakumono on October 11, and Mariama Mahmoud, 10 years, from Oshie on October 20. Some include 12-year-old Nigerian Michael Kinsley on October 24, Theophilus Akins, 13, from Cape Coast on December 22, Fauza Nuru, also 13, from Achimoda on December 5. The rest are 13-year-old Vinam Wade from Takrade and was sent to the shelter on January 8, Daniel Ashon, 9 years, from Mamobi on December 13, Mauto, 9 years, from Amasaman on April 24, 2017, and Emmanuel, 8 years, from Nima on June 23. Anyone who knows any of these children or their relatives should please contact the Osu Shelter for Abused Children or the nearest police station.
Thank you very much. Let's move on and do some international news.
The Tunisian government has announced a wave of social reforms reacting to days of demonstrations by anti-austerity protesters. There were fresh protests on Sunday, the 7th anniversary of the ousting of President Zine al-Abidine Ben Ali. Emergency government meetings have been held in response to the protests, which have seen more than 800 arrests. Liberia's outgoing president has been expelled from her own party for allegedly failing to support his candidates to succeed her. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is accused of encouraging people to vote against her vice president Joseph Boakai. Former footballer George Weah won the presidential elections in December, defeating Mr. Boakai. Sirleaf, who is a Nobel Prize winner and Africa's first elected woman president, could not stand again. Residents and visitors in Hawaii have been recalling the shock of a false missile alarm, with many saying they thought they were going to die. The alert of an incoming ballistic missile was sent wrongly on Saturday morning by an emergency system worker. Victims of the ordeal spoke of hysteria and panic evacuations. The false alarm sparked recriminations, with state officials apologizing and President Donald Trump's response called into question.
Well, that's all for News 360 for tonight. I am Solis Rose Corte.
And I'm Issa Moni. Enjoy the rest of your evening.